Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Alex Avila with Invincible You, where we learn how to live with passion, purpose, and power. Every week we talk about how to improve our finances, career, spirituality, relationships. And today we have a very interesting and dynamic guest, Anita Aguilar. She is a money mindset coach, entrepreneur, and host of Manifesting Money podcast. She's a former makeup artist, salon manager, bartender, house painter, and she has dedicated her life to help students achieve financial abundance through the mastery of manifestation. Welcome, Anita, to the show.
Oh, I'm so excited, and I'm so grateful that you're patient with me for getting on here. That's how I know it's going to be a good episode.
You didn't know how to use the old-fashioned methods, but we're here, right? So that's what counts.
Yeah.
Now, you're a Latina, I think you said, background, Hispanic as well, and you've done a lot of interesting things with money manifestation. Yeah. And the thing of the idea of why do people have a poverty mentality? I always ask myself that. And you told me that you started out maybe with a little bit of that. You were a manager in a salon, and then you ran across a woman named Kathleen Cameron, who's a money coach. And you said she went from $30,000 a month to $300,000 a month teaching these techniques. You thought, wow, I want to learn that too. And you took one of her free courses. But then when it came to paying for the course, you were hesitant. And you didn't do it. And I think you borrowed money and did something. Tell us about that story. How did you get into this thing?
Oh my gosh. There's so many things that happen in the background that when I tell the material story, everybody's like, wow, that's so crazy. You know, things just happen easily. And I'm like, there was a lot of work that had to be done, but it wasn't necessarily the hustle grind that I was usually used to, like the masculine energy. And I just want to point out in your podcast, I just got done listening to your episode about reverse giving. And oh my gosh, I love it. I just love it because it all ties together, especially when it comes to money. Yes. So long story short, I was actually coaching and mentoring makeup artists at the time. I had courses online. I had some clients, but I was actually working again at that office job or managing that salon because I wasn't making enough with my course business. So I kind of started teaching a little bit about money mindset. Honestly, my podcast had nothing to do with makeup at this point, but I was still the Makeup Mentor podcast.
Your makeup looks great, by the way. So,
thank you. And then when I got introduced to Kathleen, again, there was a video that went viral. I actually interviewed her on my podcast, and it sounded like I was trying to prove to her that I knew what she was talking about with law of attraction, manifestation. Like she was teaching everything that I knew, but she was living it.
Wow.
And when I seen that, it was kind of like I needed somebody to tell me, Anita, you're supposed to be coaching this. Anita, you're supposed to be teaching people this. And I was like, And the truth is, I actually had a lot of fear of teaching manifestation. I knew that I was attracting a lot of people about money mindset and manifestation. But again, I was so scared because I had a lot of subconscious beliefs about manifesting in general. Like a lot of fear of saying I'm the co-creator of my reality, you know, not putting trust in like the highest power. And I was like, okay, if I'm really going to do this, I have to release this fear. I have to step into this version of myself.
Anita, did you grow up, some families, you know, especially immigrant families, there is a little of that poverty fear of, you know, either I lost the money or it's hard to make it. How did you grow up? Did you have a poverty or success mentality with your parents?
Oh my gosh. Well, my dad, I like to say he's the master manifester. My dad can make money out of thin air. He'll come on vacation, come back, he'll do a job for like, I don't know, he's an electrician, so he just finds work everywhere. But my dad was very the masculine energy. You know, dad goes to work, I got to pay the bills.
Traditional style.
Yeah. So there's 5 of us kids at the house. Wow. So there's, So even though, you know, I knew my dad was working, and the fact when his absence, right, we knew that he's gone from this hour to that hour. It just developed the belief that I have to work super hard to make money. And then the fear and the scarcity came from my mom's side. So my mom, and my dad were separate when I was growing up.
Right.
And it was mostly like, you know, we'd move from house to house. Oh, Anita, we can't get that. We don't have enough. You know, you can't go on vacation right now. We don't have enough money. And so even though like we physically had money, we had material things, it was just the things that were being said over and over again that made me believe that everybody else had more than what I had.
Exactly. That's called the money story or the money belief system. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. But as you know, or may have heard in Spanish, there's a phrase called mucho trabajo, poco dinero, a lot of work, a little money. Or money doesn't grow on trees. You know, we hear a lot of the stuff programming when we were younger, and it can affect your mindset. But somehow you broke free of this. Now you're 26 years old. You're starting at a young age. And you said that you did a TikTok video, and one of your students got a scholarship, and she was really happy. And then I think you were dancing in the video. And then all of a sudden you said you got 1 million hits. So how did that turn around? All of a sudden you got this huge response from your manifestation.
Yeah, that was when I was really stepping into, okay, I'm going to teach money mindset. Yes. So long story short, when the first video went viral, about me kind of just telling a manifestation story, I made a 3-day workshop just teaching people step-by-step process, charged $30 for it. I literally made it in 12 hours, guys. Like, I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. You're in flow, right? Yes. And so I had the 3-day workshop. It was kind of rolling. And then I borrowed money from my mom to join Kathleen's course. And not borrowed money. I had her apply for the loan for me. Okay. I'm going to point that out. Okay. Because it was such a difference. I see. Now,
most kids may want a house or something, but you wanted self-improvement, which is interesting. So you had a different mindset for borrowing money.
That's the things that I think my biggest thing is that I just knew it was the right step. Like, I knew it was a great course. I knew it was a good material, but it's more of just really staying with what I knew about manifestation and money mindset, that if you already had the money and you would buy it, then find the money to buy it, right? And so that was my mentality with it. And so when I paid the deposit with that loan that I got from my mom, that's when the video went viral. I've never even talked to that girl before. I'd been watching my content. She never took any of my courses. She manifested all of this stuff, and I duetted it. And for the first time in my life, my sales went like ding, 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 ding. Interesting. Okay. And it was just only up from there.
I see. So I think you were saying the commitment is one of the keys to this law of attraction manifestation. You have to commit first, I think, to buy the course or whatever it is you're doing. And then from there, results come. And the fear is what keeps you from doing it. But you overcome that through faith. As we say in I have another podcast, Love University. Love University is where you love yourself, others, and a higher nature. So love is really the key, because when you love something, it drives you to do it despite the fear. And that's kind of the idea. Now, the other thing is you were talking about reversal, and you have a kind of a nice reversal. You say the key is to be, do, and have instead of have, be, and do. And if you break that down, it's interesting, because the idea of being is that, I'm being the person I want to be in the future, whether it's happy or loving or financially successful. And then that will motivate me to do and then to have, whatever that is, financial security or emotional success. The other way that society does it is opposite. They say, first I have to have. I need to have X amount of money, X amount of relationship. And then I want to do that. And then eventually I'll be that person. Tell us about that, the whole reversal that you're working with.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's funny because I've actually kind of been thinking from that mindset ever since I was a little kid. Like, it was ingrained in me. I would just be so creative and really get out of my own head. Yes. And so I really thought from the mindset, if I won the lottery right now, if I had $1 million in my bank account, what would I do? What would be different? Like, physically in this moment, because a lot of people say, I'd buy a house. And I'm like, I'm doing an interview right now. I'm not going to hop off the phone and go buy a house right now. So really, anytime I was in a funk or I felt like I didn't have enough money, simply it was because I was playing too small. My mindset was only where my reality was. And so I would just think bigger. Okay, if I had $1 million, what would I do today? And $1 million isn't an infinite amount of money, right? So, but it made me stretch. And so all I did was manifest the money for the things that came up on the list. Yeah. So, for example, a trip to Tulum was like one of my past things. And I had a huge fear. I used to have a huge fear of going on vacation because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to cost me money. It's going to do this. And a lot of people think that when they have the money, they'll do those things. Right. But then I got into a place where I did physically have the money,
Yes.
and then you get scared of losing it, and you're scared.
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
Right.
And that's that low frequency, and you're physically blocking money
Yes.
from coming to you when you're holding on to it and you're ordering it. And so once I got super clear on the fear, right? My fear is if I go on vacation, I won't have money. I just flipped the belief. I said, okay, when I go on vacation, I make more money. And now every single time that I go on vacation, my sales go viral. And it's simply because my subconscious mind,
Right.
like I said it, yes, 1, 2, 3, as many times as I could, but I believe it because I've seen proof.
Yes.
And now every time, like that's my new reality. So again, people think that money's going to change them. Money's, the reason why things are good or bad. It's only going to amplify where you're at right now. So if you're in this place of I need, nothing changes when you have more money. And that's why people who manifest even millions of dollars, sometimes they end up exactly where they started because the core beliefs haven't changed.
Exactly. It's very powerful. Yeah. The whole mentality of how you see money and how it relates to you. Now, you talk a lot about the law of attraction. And we know that became very well known with The Secret. And, even earlier we had prosperity authors, Ponder, Hicks, Napoleon Hill, and others. And the idea that, you think about what you think about, you attract. It could be a positive or it could be negative. Now, there's one criticism to the law of attraction is the idea that if you focus on negative, you'll get negative. However, let's say your friend is sick in the hospital. So you might say, I'm not going to go to the hospital because he's sick. I don't want to get the negative energy. Or even someone's a little bit negative themselves, instead of giving them advice, you pull away. So that could be a lack of compassion. So people say that maybe that is a negative as well. So how do you see that part of it, the law of attraction and being around negative things? Can you be around negative things if you do the law of attraction?
Oh, I love this question. It's so good because I never not believed in the law of attraction or manifestation. I just physically didn't understand it. Like it didn't make any sense to me. So that's why I became obsessed. I was like, I don't get how our thoughts create our reality. Like how? And so when I invested in courses and coaches and material, I just wanted them to break it down and show me. So essentially, again, what you said is that whatever it is we focus on the most, we create more of, and we're attracting more of because we're all operating at frequencies. And once I became conscious of this, I was, again, very scared to think anything negative or anything along those lines. But I had to become conscious that it was the core subconscious beliefs that I have that are actually creating your reality. Again, I can sit here and watch a scary movie just because I've seen someone get their house broken into doesn't mean that there's somebody physically in my house. It's not going to manifest like that.
Right.
And your positive thoughts are actually happen faster than your negative thoughts because they're a higher frequency. And so a lot of times people are scared to think negatively, but what I tell my clients to do and what I've really learned for myself is that, okay, it's not about avoiding the negative thoughts. It's not about not thinking negatively. Because once you understand that you're already born at the highest vibrational state, you're already born all the way up here with peace, love, joy, excitement. And then we have these subconscious beliefs that bring us down and bring us down. You can't do that. You can't have that. You can't be that. They won't like you. It's all about really getting super clear on what the beliefs are, because even if you're masking it up with affirmations, okay, no, think positive, you're just pushing it and it's getting deeper. And then again, you're attracting the things that you don't want because you're not really dealing with the root belief. And then, so again, I have them, what is the story that you're telling yourself? Because the story is what you're manifesting. And then again, just like I said with the vacation example, just flip the story. Like even if the worst case scenario did happen, would you be okay? Would you be safe? And the answer is always yes. So that's what I do with that process.
What I was trying to get to is the idea of compassion for those who are difficult. See, if you remember, in the spiritual books, they talk about loving even your enemies, which is hard to do. And also being around people who are sick or even negative, but to help them. So it's possible you need to rise to a certain, you call it vibrational level or a spiritual level, where you're not as affected by their negativity, and you can help them.
Yes.
So it's just like you have a little barrier around you, like you're careful, but also you're compassionate. See, that's kind of a fine line. It's a balance. Obviously, you don't want to be around negative people that are complaining a lot, but at the same time, maybe they need you listen to them at times. So that's kind of the fine balance. So I think that's something we need to develop in terms of our development.
I love that. I love that you said that because I feel, it's 11:11 right now. Yeah, that's a huge message that I've been getting a lot too. I will say that I had to really tune out from everything for my family for a couple months. Like I just had to like get super clear on my beliefs.
Right.
And then I was able to really sit from that place and like, okay, why are they upset with me? Because whatever it is, they're like, I'm just a mirror for them.
Yes.
And so now I can consciously help them break it down. I'm not judging what they're saying. I'm like, okay, like for example, my dad was getting really upset over Thanksgiving about like, they think that we are trying to impress them or that we're not good enough. And I was like, where is this coming from? And it just got really, really deep. And again, if I've never really did that work for myself, I want to be able to do it to other people and even see it.
Yeah, especially those closest to us. Sometimes they hurt us the most, or we allow that to happen. But I guess, raising your level is the key. Now, one of the things we look at research-wise is optimism is a very powerful law of attraction kind of phenomena. And this guy named Wiseman did some studies on luck. He said the optimistic people are often luckier in life. They win the lottery, they get the right relationship, they do good business investments because they're always looking for opportunities. They could be waiting in line in a movie theater and they talk to the person next to them. They think, well, maybe I could make a friend or an acquaintance or maybe something more. The pessimist who thinks of negative say, I don't want to mind my own business. I don't want to get involved. So they're not open to opportunities. And the other thing is that the optimists look on the bright side of life. They turn the lemons into lemonade, as they say. So they had this study where they actually asked people, imagine you're in a bank and then walks in a robber and they shoot in the air and it hits you in the shoulder. Is that lucky or unlucky?
Now, lucky.
Okay, lucky. Now the pessimist would say that's unlucky because I was minding my own business and I got shot. The optimist would say, actually, that's very lucky because I could have been shot in the head and killed. And plus, I'm going to be on the nightly news and get free publicity for my business as a result. So they're always looking to turn it into a positive. So have you seen that in your life? Are you an optimist, would you say?
Oh, I'm the biggest optimist. Okay. I love that analogy and that example. That is so beautiful. And I think it really is, like if you don't already have that mindset, you can ingrain it. I don't think it's something that we're like born with. I think it's like something that you're really adapted by with the people that you surround yourself with, because I've been in situations where I was a negative Nancy. And then I've also been in situations where I was the most optimistic and it was just infectious.
Yes, definitely. Well, there's mood contagion. You're usually affected by people's mood, positive or negative. So you could be the one that brings the light in the room, the cheerfulness, and then you can, positively make them feel the same. Now, the other thing is, law of attraction has a lot of interesting sub-laws you may have learned about. One of them is called the law of giving. Now, I wrote a book called Invincible You that talks about these positive psychology principles. So I say, give what you want most to others. So if you're a lonely person or shy, I say, go to the room and find the loneliest person in the room and talk to them and make them feel comfortable. And that's going to release your own loneliness to an extent. Or if you want money, go out and give money to charity or homeless people. Reverses that tightness, the fear that we have. Do you use that principle, the idea of giving what you want most?
Oh, I love that. This is so beautiful. Yeah, when I was listening to your podcast, that was one of the number one things that I was like, yes, I get so excited, especially when it comes to money. And I will say that I had a deep-rooted subconscious fear of giving. Yes. So when I was a little girl, I was 5 years old, my mom gave $20 away or she was tithing at church. And I was angry. I was so mad. I was like, why would you do that if we don't have enough money? Because she always told me that we don't have enough. Yes. And it wasn't until I became conscious of that. And I was like, oh, so this is a cycle that I've been creating my whole entire life. And I shined light towards it. And then I was able to not give not because I feel like I have to or anything. Like I literally just give with an open heart. And I also give with, I have my clients go by a 10-10-10 rule. It doesn't specifically have to be like the those numbers, but just these three things: saving money, giving money, and spending money on yourself. So when it comes to money mindset, I have my clients, doesn't matter how much you give. It doesn't matter how much you spend on yourself or how much you save. It's just the action of doing those little things. And a lot of people also have that same blockage with giving, because they're like, oh, well, if I give money, I won't have enough for myself. Mm-hmm. And so, the only way to break that cycle is to be abundant, right? If you had all the money in the world and people say, when I have $1 million, I'm going to help this person and I'm going to help homeless people. Okay, do that now, right? Because nothing's going to change if you have more money, if you're not already doing it now.
Exactly. And I think some of the great books, I think one is called The Richest Man in Babylon. They talk about giving 10% first to charity, 10% saving, and then live off the other 80%. And they say that money is like little people. You can make them grow, or you can eat them. But if you eat them, you're not going to have any more little people. So the key is to make the little people keep growing. Investing in the right ways, and keep it going. Now the other thing is interesting. Another law, and this is comes from the East, kind of like Eastern philosophy, is the idea of non-attachment. And you may have heard of Hinduism and Buddhism and all that. And one of the principles is to give the fruits of your labor to the higher, whether it's God or higher power, whatever you believe in. So that way you can work very hard, but you're not attached to the results of it. And sometimes people get attached. Their ego is, I got to make X amount of money, and I didn't, and I feel like a loser. I feel terrible, as opposed to just doing the good work and letting whatever comes. How do you view that? Do you have non-attachment in your case?
Oh, yes. And Source will put me right back on track when I start to go back into the emotional attachment.
Okay.
So one of the exercises that I do with my clients is so everyone listening to this right now, they can also do this exercise. So in order to know where your relationship with money is right now, the best way to do it is to log into your bank account, look at the number, and tell me how it makes you feel. Because some people will look at that number and they're like, it's not enough. I don't have enough money. Oh my gosh, I feel scared. I feel fear. I feel anxious. And some people will be like, okay, I feel safe. It's okay, but it could be more, right? And we don't know what that number is. Nobody knows. Yes. When I do live events, I have people pretend that they're going to show the person next to them, and then they freak out. It's so funny.
Okay, so let me see if I get this straight. So you look at your bank account and you see how much you have, and you ask yourself, how do I feel about that? Okay. So what could be a response? I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm scared.
Again, a lot of people will have just emotions towards it in general. Like, scared, nervous, excited, they start sweating. A lot of times people will physically feel it in their body, and your body holds a lot of trauma. Your body holds a lot of all of your emotions. Right. Anytime your body is physically reacting to something like that, it's because your subconscious mind has deep-rooted beliefs about it.
Yes.
And so what that shows is that we have an emotional attachment to money. I'm happy when I have it, and I'm sad when I don't. And that's why a lot of people, when they don't do the inner work and they don't get super clear on where that belief actually roots from, because it has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with self-worth. This means I'm worthy. If I have enough for that, that means that I'm, it's the validation and the not feeling worthy. So
so it's kind of a balance. You want to have your goals and and your desires for certain success, but then if you're attached to it, it can be the other. So it's kind of you need a balance, because you get overly ego identified with it. Now the other thing you talk about is interesting is the law of attraction is a perfect blend of the masculine and the feminine energies. And we know we have the yin energy, the Eastern philosophy, which is the more so-called feminine, softer, receptive, and then the yang is a more so-called masculine, which some men have more yang or yin, and women have yin or yang. We had John Gray on the show. You may have heard of John Gray, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. He did a lot of books on relationships. He said today women are becoming more of the masculine energy in the workforce because they're working, and some men are becoming more of the feminine energy, which can be good. But then sometimes in relationships it becomes imbalance, because she brings that energy home, masculine energy, relationships, and vice versa. So how do you teach a lot of women to money manifest? So how do you help them balance the energies in that way, the masculine and the feminine?
Yeah, it's so beautiful, because I see people who are they're two, one or the other, right? And for me, example, like when I was before I even knew about manifesting, law of attraction, any of this stuff, like I was so much of the masculine. I had 5 jobs all at once
Okay.
because I wanted to make a lot of money. In my mind, I need to work.
Did you have a good man in your life, though? A good relationship at the time?
No. It was just me.
Okay.
And I will say that because, but like it was all about work.
Right.
And I didn't know why I was working.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how much money I wanted to make. I didn't even know how much money I physically made, how much was going in, how much was going out. And so that's why people get to that burnt out stage and they realize, okay, they're putting work over everything. And what I I eventually learned through another program is that I was working out of scarcity. I was working, even though I was saying, I want money. Like my mind was telling me I don't have enough. That's why I need to go work. And so for me to step into this version of myself, okay, if I had $1 million, what would I be doing today? Sometimes it's, going on a vacation, all stuff. But sometimes it's just sitting on the couch, watching TV, not looking at your emails, not driving for Postmates. Right. And that was the hardest shift for me because it was more releasing I had to do.
Yes.
And maybe it was me working on a course instead of me going out and promoting it. So I feel like when I see people who are too much of the masculine, again, it's just time to balance, sit back down a little bit. Okay. And then there's people who need more of the masculine. It's like, okay, you got the ideas, you know about law of attraction, you know about manifesting. You just got to put that idea out there because source is like, I want to give you money, but I don't physically have a way to send money to you.
Yeah, because at Love University, we talk about relationships a lot. That could be with yourself, another person, or a higher nature. So the key is the balance. Are you happy in your personal relationships now? Do you have a good balance, do you feel?
I mean, honestly, it's always a work in progress, especially when it comes to money. It's like I noticed once material money started to manifest in my life, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to look at my relationships, right? It shines lights in all different parts. Yes. And now I'm working that emotional attachment that we were talking about earlier. Right. Now I'm working on that with guys in my life. I'm like, okay, am I doing this because I just want attention, or am I doing this because this person really cares about me? So it's honestly, the work never stops, and it's always in just different areas. Right.
Because I can see some, pitfalls. Like, does the person want me for me or the money is one possibility. Or are they unambitious, different, are they ambitious as I am? Now, do you think you can have a person who's very ambitious and not as ambitious, but they complement each other? Is that possible? Or do you think people should be equal level of money mindset?
Honestly, what I've noticed, and not only myself, but a lot of other couples. I've been coaching a lot of couples lately. I've been attracting them. Okay. Is the balance that I find is that one is most of the masculine energy, and one is the feminine energy.
Whether male or female, right? You could have the male is maybe a little more feminine, and the woman's more masculine.
Yeah, and that's actually the example that I'm giving right now from the couple that I'm thinking of right now. Yes. But they both have the same mindset. Like it's not what they're physically doing, it's just how they think about things. Right. And it's like the other one kind of brings this one down, and then this not down, but like to the level.
Call them down a little bit. Okay.
And then this one is like, okay, here's when you need to move. Right. And I think that is like the most beautiful types of relationships. And that's what even what I've noticed for myself is some people, I do attract a lot of people who are like the same frequency as me, go. Right. But I've never seen it long term. I was like, the people who I've really seen long term are were a little bit more opposite of me, but they still think as optimistic and like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Because they're more a calming influence maybe, and then you're the go-getter, you're the excitable, but it balances out. You need to relax a little bit. The other thing I like about your work is similar to what I talk about is money. I look at it as loving energy because if you do something you love for work, you create something and then you receive this thing called money in the form of appreciation for that work. And then you go and buy goods and services, also appreciate that, and loving energy flows that way. So it's a different way to look at the world. And you might even overpay a merchant. Maybe you go to a store, you pay a little extra, and you think, well, I'm helping that person's family, or maybe they have a problem. And they may also help you in return, right, with the discount, or someone else may do that. Do you see money that way as well? Like, it's not always like having the hardest bargain, but to help people in some ways.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. Like I like to call it the path of least resistance. And when I work with my clients, I can see exactly what their path of least resistance is. Like when they talk about it, like for me, talking about money mindset, it was my path of least resistance for so long that nobody really pointed it out. And when somebody did, I was like, oh. And again, that's when all the material things started to manifest because.
What do you mean by path of least resistance? You mean what comes naturally to you, or what do you mean by that?
Yep. So whatever it is, I like to say whatever it is that you can talk about. Like think about the things that you're looking up on Google that nobody's like telling you to look up. Like, yes. You know, whether it's like stuff about love, maybe it's stuff about health, maybe it's stuff about credit. And I've noticed that the people who really find the thing that they struggled with the most and how they overcame it themselves, that's what ends up being their path of least resistance. Like it starts off as ideas, you know, mine was makeup business at first, but all of those things had to happen in order for me to fall into where I'm at right now. And I notice anytime that I have clients who are excited, they're motivated, but they're not like following through and they're like, well, maybe now's not the right time. It's because I'm a reflection. And I'm like, okay, well, who am I getting excited about? Who am I like saying I want to do this and then I don't pay the money? Like, for example, the vacation retreats I want to go on. And then I look back at myself in the ways that I'm not circulating money in the ways that I want to out of love, peace, joy, and excitement. And once I make that purchase, it's so crazy. The money's like, it goes back into circulation.
Wow. Yeah, Anita, you're kind of an interesting blend because you're very bubbly, but you're also introspective. So I can see the external energy and the internal energy kind of in a flow, which is very interesting, especially at your age. You're captivating yourself through this passion you're saying. The other thing is the money mindset. Now you talk a lot about this, you know, the belief system, abundance, you know, mindset, which is, you know, I can have success and financial success. And there's plenty in the world to go around. Scarcity mentality is not enough, right? I'm competing with other people. I got to fight for it. And they say that we have from 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day, 80% are negative. So it's almost like you're pre-programmed to worry and fear and certain things. Also, but millionaires, they found 97% of millionaires believed they would become a millionaire before they became it. So they had a whole different mindset, and that might be a whole different idea. So in terms of limiting beliefs to transforming beliefs, what is your best advice for people, let's say they're stuck in that? And by the way, I know a guy that's a millionaire, but he's extremely tight and cheap with money. He never pays for dinner. He always forgets the wallet. He doesn't drive anywhere to visit friends because he's afraid of the gas. I mean, even before the gas, just years ago, you know, and before the pandemic, you know, he just wouldn't leave the house because he's afraid of spending. But he's got a lot of money, so that's a poverty mentality in a wealthy person. Now, I don't know if you run across that too. So, how do you liberate people from these poverty mentalities?
Yeah, I've actually worked with someone like that before too, and it was such a beautiful experience because I had been working with people who were trying to get money for so long. And when she was conscious of this, so what happened, she actually started her business at a young age, 17, and her family was like, okay, now you got to take care of the family. Okay, now you got to take care of extended family. Yes. Okay, now you got to take care of the church. And so she actually developed a fear of making more money. And that's why she was hitting a wall. And once she started spending money on herself, circulating money, like giving money away, like, you know, doing the things that we just talked about, money just started flowing out of crazy places. Like for her, it was such a beautiful story. Yes. But to go back to your first question, it's like every single person that's listening to this right now already knows that they're a millionaire. Like it's already there. Like if you weren't already listening to this, and again, it's the things that you're doing on your free time, the things that you're listening to. Mine started off with podcasts, YouTube, eventually courses, coaches, just other people. It's like a deep knowing, and it'll hurt so bad that you're not where you want to be. And it's not because of the material things. It's simply because your soul is like, I meant for more. And so for me, that, like, my strongest power has been that I've always known that I'm going to be very successful. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know how.
You think it was your dad? Did he program that in you, do you think? The money message? Or did you get it in some other way?
I I don't know. I think it's something that maybe I don't even feel like it came from my parents. You know what I mean? I feel like it was maybe like a past life thing, like where it's just like, no, that this is like, this is a lifetime.
So as a little girl, were you saving nickels and had a lemonade stand, that kind of stuff? Or
I did have a lemonade stand. Okay. It's so funny. I had a lemonade stand, and I'll never forget this, but I put lemonade for free, and I was trying to make money, and I was so sad because nobody was giving me money, but it's because I put free.
Oh, okay. I see.
But yeah, it was like I've always known it.
I see.
So when the shift really started to happen on a material world for me, especially with Kathleen, and like what I've learned is that I've always seen everybody else as very successful. Oh yeah, they're a millionaire. Oh yeah, look at the way they dress. Look at the way they talk. Look at the way they speak. And the only thing that shifted was the way that I view myself. So self-love is like, I love you, Anita. You're great how you are. Self care, getting my nails done, my hair done. Self-image is like, who is that girl? You know, like, oh, look at the way I love how she speaks. Like all the things that people would say to me, and I would take them in, and I'd be like, okay. But I never seen myself that way.
Yes.
Until I started working with Kathleen, and I was like, oh. So that's what I would say. If you're in this position, you have a lot of negative thoughts. It's like you have to get super clear on what those thoughts are, because they're just thoughts. And the more that you can look at yourself and say like, okay, what do I see in somebody maybe I'm jealous of? What do I see in somebody else who has more success than me? Because we're just a mirror. And like you wouldn't notice those things about somebody else if it wasn't already in you. And the more that you can get around people like that and have those conversations and do those things that feel good to you, the more that those layers come off.
I like it. This is a very positive energy. Now, you also have, Anita, a program, is it called 31 Days to Abundance? Is that the idea? So you, not 30 days, so you have an extra day to enjoy the abundance and party with it or something, or travel. And then you talk about things like writing a letter to money, making money your best friend, and the law of assumption. But rather than talk about it, I want to see if we can put this into practice. Reggie, my producer, could you come over here? I want you to help out Reggie over here. Is a young man who's been with me for quite a while. He's a great guy. Say hi to Reggie.
Hi, Reggie.
Now, Reggie's a little shy. I've been helping him in the relationship side to find a soulmate, and I even offered to pay for one of his dates, $100, right, Reggie, for that? Now, he'd like to be more successful financially as well. So tell us your situation financially.
Financially, I'm doing fine. I believe I put money in savings and stuff. I mean, it could be worse, whatever. But at the same time, I feel like it could be better. You know, like you guys are talking about. You know. So.
Okay, so help him out with his financial dreams. He's about, I don't know, 29 or 30 years of age, a single man. How would you advise him in this way to get to the highest level?
All right, Reggie, ready? Okay, $1 million, extra $1 million in your bank account. Boop! I just sent it to you. What time is it where you guys are at?
It's 11:30 a.m. Yeah, we're in California as well.
We're in California, so it's 11:30. You still got to do whatever it is you got to do today. You know, you can't just walk out and leave, I'm guessing. I don't know if you would. But what would you physically do today with $1 million?
Physically do? Oh, man. I'd probably, well, first off, I'd treat myself to a very nice lunch after work.
$1 million lunch?
Yeah, okay. $1 million lunch. Yeah. And then oh, man. I don't know, maybe I'd call it a day and just go out somewhere, go exploring. Like, you know, got $1 million to spend, right?
Okay, so he's going to spend all the money. Is that okay, Anita, or not okay?
Yes, that's it.
No, but to spend the whole $1 million in one day, is that good or bad? To spend it all?
I mean, it's whatever it is that you believe it is, right? Because I could sit here all day long, and the first thing that you said is that you have money saved, so that's good, right? But I also want to point out that sometimes saving money can be a form of scarcity, and this is what I talk about in the 31 Days of Abundance, because again, what we were talking about, not circulating the money, again, we've been programmed with beliefs of like, okay, I need to save it, and a lot of times when I've actually seen a story where a girl manifested over $100,000 through a family member passing. And she was so scared of losing the money that she wanted to save it, that she actually ended up getting scammed. It's something manifested. She lost all of the money. And again, our mind starts to self-sabotage because it's not normal for us to have that type of money. So like...
Interesting. So now, one thing I want to get back to, this is very interesting and different from what I expected. You said it's okay to spend the whole $1 million at one time, if that's what he wants. Although most people would say, no, that's wrong because you got to invest it, you got to make money from the money. But you have a different mindset. Tell us about that. So it's okay to just spend the money and enjoy it? Thinking you'll make more money? Is that the idea, that you can manifest more?
Yeah, I mean, what I tell my clients to do is live by a 10-10-10 rule. So 10% save, 10% give away, 10% spend on yourself, go get that lunch, right? Or just having some sort of structure. It doesn't have to be that specific structure.
So $800,000 for lunch. Is that okay?
Maybe a little too much, whatever. Maybe 500,000.
Okay. And any other advice for him? I mean, he's still young enough. Should he invest in certain things? Do you give practical advice like crypto or 401ks or anything? Or what do you tell people?
Honestly, what I've been learning more, I don't know a lot about crypto, but what I like to do is like that 10% that I'm saving, I do like to make my money work for me. I'm also really big on affiliate marketing. Like if I'm spending money on something, especially when it comes to like my business, like if I'm referring it and I'm telling other people about it, that I get my 10% for it. So that way my expenses are getting paid. Just ways that money can physically come to you without you working. So like crypto is like a really good example. Just
kind of passive income, they call it, where you the money makes money for you in a sense.
Yeah, because then you're building that belief in your brain, and your brain is like, oh, money does actually multiply when I'm not working, when I'm going out to lunch, and when I'm taking time off and going exploring. Like doing those physical things, but also setting up your life so it's like how money can physically come to you while you're not working or while you're sleeping is the best way to balance the masculine and feminine energy with money.
Anita, how about the idea? You can say money cannot buy you love or happiness, but can it help you facilitate finding love or happiness? What do you think?
I think money's an amplifier. So I've seen people who, especially when it comes to masculine world, you know, when it comes to money, right? Is someone buying you a drink? Like, even though it's not like them physically saying, it's the exchange for money, right? Like sometimes it's us saying no is what helps us with that. Okay, without the detachment and like, I like you for who you are, not because you're buying me a drink. And I do want to point that out because again, in the beginning of my story, I just got in that vicious cycle over and over again because in my life, showing money or people giving me money, my dad giving me money to go shopping or whatever, it was a form of love. And so I was like, okay, I need to detach from this and put the blinders and like really look at somebody for who they are, not the material things. And again, when I see people who have abundance, it's different. Like you can see people who again have money, but they're not being abundant. They're lack mindset. They're just negative energy. But then I also see people who maybe they're coming up and they're like working on that big idea. I feel like I'm more attracted to people like that because I'm like, you see where they're going before they actually get there. And it's kind of those stories where the couples have been together the whole entire life and then one person gets famous and nothing changes. So.
All right, Reggie. So work on the big idea. Let the girl buy you a drink and manifest your money.
All right. Yeah.
Thanks, Reggie, for coming by.
Thank you.
Good job. Okay.
Thanks, Reggie.
I think you inspire Reggie. Reggie's going to go out and make a lot of money and help people too, right? But one of the things also, I like the of helping people, you know, like through your money as well, because that's going to generate, you know, love, right? Which is, I think, one of the greatest things you can receive from what we do. Now, you do have some wonderful programs, Anita. Now, the thing about making money your friend and all that, and what does that mean, actually, making money your friend?
Like physically seeing money as a friend. Like I wouldn't sit here and tell you that you're the root of all evil. Yeah, I wouldn't say...
to your friend, right? You wouldn't say that to a friend, let's say, right?
Yeah. You know, it's just like when you start to see money as like an actual person and see it as a relationship, like pretend, for my scenario, pretend money's my boyfriend, like stuff like that, you start to treat it a lot differently. And one of the biggest things that I see a lot of people don't have, not only with money, but like relationships in general, is trust. And so you can say that you trust money, you trust it's going to be there, right? If you really trusted that the money was going to come, you would let it go faster. You would give more. You would spend it more. You would circulate it more. Right. And even little things that we do unconsciously. I talk about this in the 31 Days of Abundance, like looking at your phone right before you check out. You know, do I have enough money? Do I know that? It's like little things. That's like an example of you texting someone. You said you're going to the store. Yes. Are you there? Are you there? And that's how it looks.
Right. So insecurity and possessiveness pushes people away, right? And it pushes money away possibly too, if you think of it that way. But if you say, if you trust it, you have faith in it in a positive way, then it will come to you, right? Just like a good friend will come to your house when they know you have good food and hospitality for them. So it's kind of a nice feeling. Anita, it's been wonderful having you on the show. You got a lot of great ideas and you're energetic, and I think you love to help people too, which is really the bottom line. And you get a smile on your face when you see that girl with the scholarship or someone else with their business success and financial success. Now, tell us a little bit about where can people go to find your products? Do you have anything that you can offer our listeners?
Yeah, so you guys can tune into the Manifesting Money podcast. We post every single Tuesday. I post a lot on TikTok. So if you guys are bingers on TikTok like me, I live on there. I'm live most on TikTok. Right. But TikTok is Manifesting Money podcast. And same for Instagram. I actually love when people listen and then they screenshot and tag me on Instagram. Yes. I'm a huge voice memo person. So if you ever want to reach out to me, ask me a question. I get messages every single day, and it's like...
What is a voice memo? How does that work?
Voice memo? So it's kind of like, instead of me just typing something, I can record myself for a minute, and I can send it to someone. Cool. And so I love doing those because they're more personal. On TikTok, I hardly message back, but I get testimonies like every single day. Like even if people just get like, they realize something from what I said today, that's why I do what I do. And I want to say that I'm so grateful to be on this podcast and sharing this because, again, a lot of people see the material things and they're like, and once you realize you get to this point where the material things manifest, the things that you want manifest, and then you feel this like numb, and it feels empty, and you feel like cold. It's the worst feeling in the world. And honestly, I feel my most in alignment when I'm telling other people my story, when I'm telling other people about this work, because that's what actually brings me the joy, not the material things. So thank you for allowing me to share.
Definitely, yeah. So love really is the ultimate essence for all these things, whether it's money, whether it's relationships, whether it's inner peace. And the fact that you're doing all this is really a beautiful thing, where you're creating this energy flow that's very positive. So we definitely want to have you back on the show. If you ever write a book and all, but what's your website again? Your website address?
So manifestingmoneypodcast.com.
Manifesting Money Podcast. Okay. So, we'd love to have you back on again and talk about other parts, maybe how money affects relationships, how money affects spirituality, and also with the pandemic, right? How people can make more money during these times. There's a lot of interesting topics we can get into. So if anyone wants to comment on the show or have a question for us, you can reach us at 310-226-8090. You can like us on Facebook at Invincible You Official. You can write to us at invincibleyounow@gmail.com. So Anita, again, it's been wonderful. I can see you're ready to rock and roll out there and do more things. Are you any kind of music you're into? What's your favorite kind of music?
I actually love, I'm a huge Christmas crazy.
Oh, really? Christmas carols and the traditional kind of things?
That's the kind of vibe I'm in, but my team's probably going crazy because I make them look.
Do you sing at all? Do you have any singing abilities?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay. I always want to get my guests to do something fun, but maybe we'll take singing lessons for this year. Then we'll become singers or something.
That would be so fun.
All right, again, it's been wonderful. I have you on the show. So Dr. Alex Avila, Invincible You, go out this week and help other people, give what you want most in terms of finances and also in terms of emotional connection, and bring more into your life, whether it's more money, more love, and more happiness. This is Dr. Alex Avila, Invincible You. Until next time. That was a great interview with Anita Aguilar, Money Mindset Manifestation. And what I like about her, she has a lot of passion, and also she has a lot of caring. She really wants to help people. And the financial is an element of the internal. When you have an internal positivity and happiness and love, you can attract financial security and wealth in many ways. So if you want to be part of our show, you can listen to Invincible You at Podbean, Spotify, SoundCloud, and iTunes. You can like us on Facebook at Invincible You Official. Follow us on Twitter at InvincibleU_. Follow us on Instagram at Invincible You Official. Until next time, this is Dr. Alex Avila with Invincible You. Go out this week and manifest money, success, love, and happiness. Until next time, Dr. Avila.